everybody, this is Jewelyn. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my room here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Evie's hanging out. We're gonna go out for a little break. She's been really patient with me while I just pretty much stayed in and did things for the channel like edit and film today's video. So in this Thursday's check-in video, it is my last day of my work week here in Las Vegas. So we are actually going to be driving home tonight in the middle of the night when I'm done with work. And by the time this video goes live, I will be home for 4 days. And I think this time around, I'm going to be home for a little over a week. So it'll give me time to film for both of the channels and fill any resin, merchandise, or plant orders, as well as just experiment more with resin. I'm really excited to do a whole nother avenue with plant life, having over 600 plants and having my collection, this particular collection in Santa Monica, for a couple of years. It's just nice to learn something new and do something different with my collection, especially with my blooms. And I shared my journey preserving them on both of the channels. If you haven't watched the vlog channel, I share a lot about my preserving my blooms in silica gel and doing resin art on the vlog channel, and everything behind the main channel, the behind the scenes, and what it's like to live in 2 different states and have a collection of hundreds of plants. I share all of that on the vlog channel. I do daily vlogging on the vlog channel. So thank you guys for supporting me on the vlog channel. If you enjoy seeing my life behind the main channel, I really appreciate all of the love that I get on that channel. And it's just a little bit more casual, and it's not a sit down setup type of video that I do for the main channel, which I love doing. On the vlog channel, I don't have to worry about setting up for a particular video. I can just hit record and just share with you my everyday life. And I have been vlogging now for, I want to say, 8 to 10 years. So it's just part of me to want to just share my life, and hopefully that inspires you, or at least keep you company during this time where we're all trying to just figure out life right now with this pandemic. And I guess depending on where you are in the world, obviously every single city and country is dealing with this pandemic in different ways. I know for sure I see that with my Los Angeles life and my Las Vegas life channel. Then you know that my life in Los Angeles has been on a standstill since March. All of my jobs I had in Los Angeles pretty much shut down their doors permanently. I do not have a job to go back to where I was teaching in all those different studios, teaching Pilates. Unfortunately, with the closure of the city, they all closed their doors permanently. So I just kind of been figuring out where and what I want to do with my life come 2021. But for right now, I'm just coming to Las Vegas twice a month to dance for work. Fortunately, I do live and work in 2 different states and cities. So Las Vegas has been open since May, since Mother's Day weekend. So I'm so thankful, and I thank God that I'm still able to work in Las Vegas, and that has been going good for me, that I still have income coming in. But right now my Los Angeles life is on a standstill. So I decided to learn something new over the lockdown. And if you watch the vlog channel, you know I love creating costumes. I love sewing, I love costume designs, and it's just a whole nother avenue with my dance life that I enjoy doing just as much as performing. I've been performing on stage since the age of 3, but I love creating costumes and I love sewing. I'm definitely a creative type, a DIYer. And when I was in the middle of lockdown, and I share with my daily vlogs on the vlog channel, I decided to learn how to preserve my plant collection, my blooms that come into my space. And I've been sharing my journey and the things I've learned along the way on both of the channels. Every time I pour, I learn something new. And I started this journey in the beginning of lockdown in March, and I've been actually holding off for 1 year of doing this. After 1 year of wishing and wanting to preserve my blooms, I finally decided to just buy the things I needed, the basic things to get started: silica gel, resin, whatever brand that you decide to go with, basic molds, and just start, because you won't be able to learn and grow in any kind of art form unless you physically do it, and I finally did it. And you will see in this coming Monday's video on the main channel, this was filmed 6 weeks ago, so what you see on both of the channels right now is from 6 weeks ago. And Thursday's check-in videos is the closest thing to real time. It's just hard for me to have both channels be in real time when I do both channels daily. So right now, what you see on both of the channels is from 6 weeks back. So this coming Monday's video, you will see me starting to explore with my resin life. I think then I was maybe 3 months into resin, so I was getting a little bit more confident and finding my style. And you will see me in that video not wearing a respirator mask, because when I was trying to find one when I started doing resin life, it was the beginning of the pandemic. I couldn't find anything. Finally, 3 months into resin life, I was able to find a respirator mask, which you will see me eventually wearing it in upcoming videos, but I did pay a lot for it. So you will see me wearing a face cover that my grandma made me, so just a regular material face cover that everybody is using right now. At least I was able to protect myself from really breathing in the epoxy resin. It is not healthy for you to breathe in all of those chemicals and fumes, so that's something to take note of if you are going to get into resin or thinking about it. Definitely when you buy your first products to start your resin life, I would say if you're not sure, then use the face mask. You know, it's very inexpensive, you probably already have it. But if you're going like 1 month into it and you know this is something that you really want to invest your money and time in, then I would say that is like the perfect time to invest into a respirator mask. It is not cheap. In fact, everything for resin life is very expensive. I filmed the video which you're going to be seeing this coming Monday with me pouring resin. That was 6 weeks ago, and since then I have purchased so many things for resin life, so many molds, so many things for resin, whether it's alcohol ink, mica pigments, different kinds of molds, kind of exploring outside of just putting my blooms into resin. I'm doing things where I have monstera molds or cactus molds or fern molds where I'm actually able to incorporate these things in different pieces. So it's just been really fun. And with that being said, and the reason why I'm talking about resin is because I don't have any physical plants to share with you in today's video. Las Vegas, I feel like this time of year being over 100 degrees, that's why I'm filming inside. Like, plant life is on a standstill. Where I'm at right now with my plant life, I could probably bring my whole collection here, put it into a boutique plant shop, and I would have more varieties than any retail space here. So unfortunately, there's nothing going on with plant life for me here. So that is why I'm talking about resin, and the fact that there's a resin video coming up on Monday. And I've been showcasing my pieces for sale, which, by the way, all of my resin art pieces is a permanent fundraiser for my grandma, where 100% of the proceeds will go to her, whether it's to help pay her rent, her utilities, groceries, anything like that is just going directly to her. And this is just one way of me, with the help of my channel, just as a thank you for supporting my channel and the collection while she's with me. And I am so happy that I'm able to do this for her. So reach out to me, Planting with Jewelyn, on Instagram if you would like to purchase any of the pieces. I wanted to share with you, now that I'm into preserving my collection, and everything is very on a time limit. So when you preserve your blooms into Silica Gel, the brand that I use, which is everything in my Amazon store, you can find it. The link is in my description box, my affiliated link. The brand that I use, they send you a sheet of paper where there's different blooms, obviously not houseplant blooms or cactus blooms, but you can kind of get a gist of, okay, well, my Hoya bloom might be similar to maybe this common flower bloom that you might see in the grocery store, something like that. And you can kind of figure out how many days you need to keep your bloom in Silica Gel to fully preserve and get all of the moisture out. So I have these containers where you get when you do takeaway food, they give you these plastic containers. Well, I save them, and I reuse them now for silica gel, and it's easy for me to, wherever I travel or when I come to Las Vegas, if I'm preserving something and the bloom is on the thinner side where I'm gonna have to take it out of silica gel way before I get back home to Santa Monica, I'll bring it with me so that I can take it out of silica gel, and I'll let it sit on silica gel. And I've learned that along the way, that once you preserve your blooms, learned this along the way, that if I'm not gonna put my preserved dry blooms that I took out of silica gel into resin right away, you're gonna have to keep your blooms sitting on silica gel so that it does not retain any kind of moisture again. Because if you put your blooms into resin and it was sitting outside of silica gel for a couple of days, your bloom will probably burn up because it grabbed onto moisture sitting and waiting for its turn. So I wanted to share with you what I'm currently preserving, and I have a few Hoya blooms here. So this is my multiflora blooms. I think I have a few more in the container, and I have preserved this in resin before, but my multiflora mother plant is still giving me blooms, so I was able to catch this right before I left my space. But I have some really fun blooms to share with you. Let me gather them here, that I've never ever preserved before. So if you are on my Patreon, you would have seen what happened to my collection over the past week, and I was able, oh my goodness, like with great timing, right before I left, my Hoya Crinkle 8, I cannot believe it, finally gave me blooms for the first time, my mother plant. And I know a bunch of you guys have babies from my mother. So this is my Hoya Crinkle 8 blooms preserved. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for this one, guys. Like seriously, super excited. It finally bloomed for me for the first time. Took some photos and shared it on both of my channels, and you will see that eventually on both of the channels. And I picked it right before I left. It's been sitting in silica gel since about 4 days now, and it's like the perfect amount of time being under. 3 to 4 days I think is really good for Hoya blooms, and I just let it sit on silica gel, and I will be doing some cool things with this. I don't know if I'm gonna maybe put it like in a tray mode. I'm not too sure. It'd be really fun to do like the Hoya Multiflora, the Hoya Bella, and the Hoya Crinkle 8 blooms in a tray and kind of have them like mixed in. We'll see, so stay tuned for that. But I wanted to share with you what I'm currently preserving, and I think that's really fun also to share every Thursday, to share with you if I'm preserving anything from the collection and maybe what I plan on doing with the blooms. But that's really fun. So this is definitely, I reuse every single plastic container like this that comes to my space from takeout, and it's nice. So if I'm doing multiple preserving, I can have, you know, one here, another there, and they're not just all sitting in one container, which is where I started. I've been into preserving my blooms and doing resin now for 6 months. I cannot believe that. So now I got away from preserving all my blooms in one container, and I'm doing it in separate containers like this. I do have on my resin cart one container of just all of my preserved blooms and ferns and things like that, just sitting on silica gel, so that when I am going to do a project, I just look through there. But if I'm in the middle of preserving blooms, they will just sit in separate containers so that I don't confuse myself, and it's just so easy to travel with. So say for instance, like when I went to Big Bear for my birthday, I didn't know if I was gonna come across anything I wanted to preserve, so this is what traveled with me and followed me. So you just never know. I also wanted to share with you what I got in the mail, and I'm so excited to be sharing this with you guys. And I got me some new glitter. So this is my new glitter. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Everything with Resin Life is super expensive. So not only is plant life expensive, whether it's buying the plant, buying things for maintenance, whether it's fertilizer or any of the products you need to plant them up from soil, and perlite and pumice and all of that, worm castings, coco coir, that's expensive. And then also the planters you put them in, the humidifiers, I mean making your coco coir moss poles, like all of that is super expensive. And then now I'm getting into this, and this is like way more expensive, but I'm able now to preserve my blooms that only last for a day or a couple of days. I can now preserve them and I can create art. And the cool thing is that you're able to purchase it, and no matter where you are around the world, you can have a part of my collection. Because I know if you're out of the US mainland, you're not able to buy any of my plants, unfortunately, but you can have a part of the collection this way. My 2 new molds that I'm super excited about. So I got more Monstera molds and I got Opuntia molds. So isn't that so cute? I have a cactus and houseplant mold, and I think this might be my 4th Monstera mold. I've been doing some cool stuff, and you will see in the upcoming videos some fun things that I made, and I'm just like getting into bigger and bigger pieces and just exploring with different mica pigments and glitters and colors and things like that. And I wanted to share with you some bookmarks that I created, and I am loving these bookmarks. They're great for journals, agendas, your current favorite read, if you're religious, your Bible, or anything like that. I am loving the bookmarks, and I've learned so much over such a short period of time. I have to just not be too hard on myself. I know if you guys are into resin, when I first started, and I'm still new into it, anytime I pour, I learn from my mistakes, and I try to not beat myself up if there's something wrong with the piece, because really there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you can fix it, and I've learned how to fix my mistakes in all these pours. And definitely if I can't fix it, I learn from my mistakes, and I know that I won't do it again in the future. So I bought 4 different bookmarks to share with you, and this is such a cute one here. So I have, in this particular piece, I have my crown of thorns here and asparagus fern. So cute. Love this one a lot. This is also a fun one too. So I'm experimenting with different foils, glitters, alcohol inks. This one has the Hoya Bella bloom and asparagus fern. I love preserving my ferns. They're just so cute, and they're just so darling in resin. I look at ferns now on a whole different level. Here's another one. So this one, I just play with some alcohol ink with the fern. Great for somebody who's more into simpler things, or maybe a guy who's not wanting into looking at a bloom on his bookmark. So that's another option. And then also this piece here where I added the alcohol ink in with the Hoya Bella blooms and the asparagus ferns. So these bookmarks are for sale. They're available. I'm constantly pouring new bookmarks all the time. And I say that because if I do have any leftover resin from my big pieces, I have my bookmarks out with a few things in it, like whatever I want to put in the bookmarks laid in. So if I have leftover resin, I'll just pour it in there and the resin won't go to waste. So I'm constantly preserving and making fun bookmarks. So if you're interested in any of my bookmarks, I have so much more. They're all in Santa Monica, but I just wanted to bring these 4 new ones. Reach out to me, Planting with Jewelyn, on Instagram, and they're just great for yourself or for gifts or special occasions, and you can have a part of my collection. So I wanted to share that. I wanted to save the best for last. I'm super excited. This is my biggest Monstera leaf mold. I don't know if it's gonna get any bigger than this, but if you're on my Patreon, you would have seen this by now. And I cannot believe this is the first time I've ever poured into this mold, and I wanted to do like an elbow kind of look to it, and also to experiment with mica pigments. So these 2 pigments are new to my resin life, and I just wanted to just experiment with that. So this is up for sale, and I will be pouring more when I'm back home in Santa Monica this week, next week. So if you're interested in maybe an all green one or an all white one, whatever it is, I'm going to be pouring more. And this is just great whether you have it on your plant shelf, your bookshelf, maybe on the wall. Maybe if you want to have this on your vanity and maybe put your jewelry on. It's just such a fun piece, and I love experimenting with resin. So I'm just taking my plant life in a whole different level, and I'm just having fun with it. So if you're interested in this piece or in this particular piece but in a different color, I also have like an olive green color that I've been experimenting with, which you see in my bookmarks, which also, by the way, it can also be ornaments if you celebrate Christmas, as well as keychains if you wanted. So just a very fun piece that I wanted to share in today's check-in, because I knew there was like not going to be anything like real plant life related, like a real plant to share with you in today's check-in. So I guess it's all about my plant life with resin life. So I hope you found this video interesting, inspiring. If you're curious about where I am with my resin life, and I'm 6 months in, so stay tuned. Eventually you will see on both of the channels where I am currently right now, and I'm just having really fun with it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on another Thursday check-in, and you will see me on next week Thursday's check-in from Santa Monica. So I will share more of my resin life. I will share more plants for adoption. And as always, if you see any plants in my videos, whether it's on Instagram or on my channels, on any video, and you're interested in it and you live in the US mainland, reach out to me, Planting with Jewelyn, on Instagram. I definitely don't mind taking from my collection if it doesn't ruin the plant. And I'm also open to trading with any of you guys who purchase any merchandise, resin orders, plant orders from me. I'm open to trading with you if there's something in your collection that I don't have or that I would be interested in. I definitely don't mind doing trades as long as you send yours first. Once I receive it, I will send what I am agreeing to send back on my end. And stay tuned, because there's one subscriber that bought a resin keychain from me, and she's based in New York, and she sent some plants over, so we're doing a trade, and I am going to be receiving it 2 days before, hopefully, in Las Vegas. So my mom's going to be receiving it prior to this video, and I'm going to be sending something back on my end. I'm going to be sending her my totem pole cactus and my apron, my channel apron. So it's gonna be really fun. I'll share that in a whole separate video. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you're new, welcome to the channel. Subscribe for daily uploads between the main channel Monday to Thursday and the vlog channel Friday to Sunday. You get a video each and every day. Until next time, aloha from the 9th Island, Las Vegas, Nevada. Bye.